Hello and welcome to Byju's IAS. Let's take up the daily quiz for today. The first question: which of the following statements are correct? Lead IT, or the Leadership Group for Industry Transition, is an initiative to achieve the adoption of best cybersecurity standards in the IT industry. It was launched by India and Sweden along with the World Economic Forum in 2019. See, amongst the given statements, the first statement is incorrect and the second statement is correct. So option B is the right answer. The LEAD IT initiative was launched by India and Sweden in 2019 along with the World Economic Forum with the support of the Stockholm Environment Institute during the 2019 Climate Action Summit, which was organized by the UN Secretary General. So this makes the second statement correct, but the first statement is incorrect because this initiative is focused on helping industries around the world to transition towards a low carbon economy. So this makes the first statement incorrect as it does not deal with cybersecurity standards. See, the LEAD IT initiative is in news because of this press release from the Environment Ministry. According to this press statement, the LEAD IT Summit 2021 has been conducted by India and Sweden during the ongoing Climate Change Summit at Glasgow. At the 26th Conference of Parties to the Climate Change Convention, the LEAD IT Summit has been held, which is essentially a voluntary initiative that promotes low carbon transition for industries located in key sectors such as iron and steel, aluminium, cement, concrete, petrochemicals, fertilizers, bricks, heavy duty transport, etc. Under this initiative, nearly 15 governments and their respective industries are coming together to drive the transition of these industries towards a low carbon future by bringing down their emissions with the employment of cleaner technology. During the 2021 summit of the LEAD IT initiative, new members have been added to the group, which includes the United States, Austria, and Ethiopia. Then even Ukraine has shown the willingness to join the initiative because under this, key industries around the world are striving to achieve net zero emission targets with the backing and support of their respective governments. Now let's look at the second question. India organized the Ganga Connect exhibition in which city? New Delhi, Varanasi, Glasgow, Osaka. The correct answer is option C, Glasgow. The Ganga Connect exhibition has been organized by India during the ongoing Climate Change Convention Summit to highlight the progress that India has made in cleaning up the Ganga River. This important event has been reported in a press release that has been brought out by the Ministry of Jal Shakti. According to this statement from the ministry, India has organized the Ganga Connect exhibition at Glasgow during the ongoing Climate Change Summit to showcase the progress that India has achieved through the National Mission for Clean Ganga. This exhibition will be taken across the United Kingdom to highlight the efforts that India has taken up to preserve and protect the Ganga River basin and its sensitive ecosystem, with the objective of engaging with interested parties and companies and even the Indian diaspora who might be interested in getting involved in this key project that aims to rejuvenate, restore, and conserve the Ganga River system. Now let's look at the third question. The National Legal Services Authority of India, or also known as NALSA, was established to fulfill which provision of the Indian Constitution? Article 20, Article 39A, Article 123, or Article 224? The correct answer is option B, Article 39A. See, Article 39A, under the Directive Principles of State Policy, mandates the state to provide for equal justice and free legal aid. So, in the pursuit of these objectives, India enacted the Legal Services Authorities Act in 1987, which provided for the establishment of NALSA in the year 1995. NALSA, or the National Legal Services Authority of India, was established on the 9th of November in 1995 and every year this day is marked as the Legal Services Day. Through this act, at the state level as well, the State Legal Services Authority of India was established, along with similar authorities at the district level. The function of NALSA is to lay down guidelines for the state and district legal services authorities to effectively achieve the mandate that has been laid down under Article 39 of the Constitution. The Chief Justice of India acts as the patron in chief of NALSA, whereas the second most senior judge at the Supreme Court acts as the executive chairman. The function of NALSA, along with its state and district counterparts, is to provide for free legal aid to the poor and also to organize Lok Adalats, which is a type of alternate dispute resolution mechanism in order to promote arbitration and mediation so that out of court settlements can be worked out in order to quickly resolve cases and reduce the burden on the judiciary. And these legal services authorities are also involved in promoting legal awareness at the grassroots so that the objective of equal justice and free legal aid can be fulfilled. Now, this topic was taken up because, according to this press release from the Ministry of Law and Justice, NALSA has observed the Legal Services Day. Now, let's look at the fourth question. India and Israel have recently entered into a bilateral innovation agreement to promote the development of dual use technologies, development of next generation COVID-19 vaccines, innovation in agriculture and irrigation, to promote the deployment of cyber defense tools. The correct answer is option A. See, according to this press release from the Ministry of Defense, India's DRDO and its Israeli counterpart have signed the bilateral innovation agreement for promoting the development of dual-use technologies. Dual-use technologies are nothing but those technologies which have both a civilian and military application. Dual use refers to technologies such as semiconductors, development of batteries, production of high-grade metal, the design and development of aeronautical components, and other such critical technologies which have both a civilian and military application. Such dual-use technologies are high-end technologies and highly sensitive, and very few countries are able to develop and produce such dual-use technologies. So India and Israel have signed this agreement to promote the development of next-generation dual-use technologies, especially in the areas of drones, robotics, artificial intelligence, quantum technology, photonics, biosensing, brain-machine interface, energy storage, wearable devices, natural language processing, etc. So in such dual-use domains, India and Israel will work together to develop key technologies which will serve both a civilian and military purpose. This bilateral innovation agreement will allow DRDO and its Israeli counterpart to work together and to promote innovation in startups and in small enterprises such as MSMEs for the design and development of these dual-use technologies. Now let's look at a question from the 2019 prelims paper. With reference to the British colonial rule in India, consider the following statements. Mahatma Gandhi was instrumental in the abolition of the system of indentured labor. In Lord Chelmsford's war conference, Mahatma Gandhi did not support the resolution on recruiting Indians for the World War. Consequent upon the breaking of salt law by Indian people, the Indian National Congress was declared as illegal by the colonial rulers. Which of the statements are correct? Amongst the given statements, statement 1 and 3 are correct, whereas the second statement is incorrect. So option B is the right answer. See, Mahatma Gandhi did play a key role in the abolition of the indentured labor system. And after Indians broke the salt law following the Dandi March, Indian National Congress was declared as illegal by the British authorities. But however, the second statement is incorrect because Mahatma Gandhi did support the resolution adopted during the war conference of Lord Chelmsford with regard to recruiting Indians for the war efforts of Britain. So the correct answer is option B, 1 and 3 only. Now let's look at the fact of the day and talk about Project 75 and the Scorpene submarines. According to this press release from the Ministry of Defense, the fourth submarine under Project 75 has been handed over to the Indian Navy, and this submarine, that belongs to the Scorpene class of submarines, has been named as INS Vela, and it has been indigenously built at the Mazgaon Dock Limited, in line with the ambitions of Make in India initiative and the Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative. See, the Kalvari class of submarines include diesel-electric attack submarines, which are based on the Scorpene submarines of France. These submarines are being built in India indigenously under Project 75, but the design of these submarines and the technology comes from France. Back in 1997, the Defense Ministry had approved Project 75, under which conventional submarines were supposed to be built in India. After the Kargil War, the Cabinet Committee on Security took up this proposal of the Defense Ministry and approved Project 75 as a 30-year submarine building plan, which would provide for the construction of nearly 24 conventional submarines. Under the initial version of the project, 6 diesel-electric submarines were supposed to be built, and the Indian Navy chose the Scorpene class of submarines of France for this project. So accordingly, the French Naval Defense Company, DCNS, transferred the technology to India, and since many years, these submarines are being indigenously built at the Mazgaon Dock Limited. And as of now, the construction of 4 out of these 6 submarines has been completed and they have been handed over to the Indian Navy. The first submarine to be completed under Project 75 was INS Kalvari, and hence the entire class of submarines have been named as the Kalvari class. Recently, in March 2021, the third submarine under the project, INS Karanj, was commissioned into the Indian Navy, and now the fourth submarine, INS Vela, has been handed over to the Navy. This project has been further extended into Project 75I, under which 6 more advanced diesel-electric submarines would be built, and all these submarines are being constructed in India indigenously to boost the Make in India initiative. These submarine building projects not only promotes defense indigenization, but it also helps the Indian Navy to boost its underwater warfighting capabilities by expanding its submarine fleet in order to counter the increasing threat posed by the Chinese Navy in the Indian Ocean. The PLA Navy has significantly expanded its submarine fleet, and they are being increasingly deployed in the Indian Ocean, which directly threatens Indian national interests. So, to counter the expansion of the Chinese Navy and its submarine fleet, India has taken up these projects, and particularly under Project 75 and Project 75I, the conventional diesel-electric attack submarines that are being built, they are equipped with anti-submarine warfare capabilities, along with the capability to collect intelligence and to carry out surveillance and reconnaissance, including the ability to engage in anti-surface warfare. So with this, let's conclude our discussion for today. Thanks for watching.